Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm so happy to be back here. Thanks for inviting me back. So much has happened in the world since I came up with this talk title. However, it still holds value, maybe even more so, because I've come to believe that there is no power outside of me. And so, it's time to uncork this talk. So just like a bottle, when a bottle is closed for too long, there is pressure that builds. And something inside wants to be released. And before we go any further, let's take a deep breath with me. Inhale and exhale slowly. And just notice what feels a little pressurized in your life right now. You know, we go through life with expectations from our family. For instance, the father is a farmer and wants the son to take over the farm. Our culture might expect us to marry someone with the same values. We are taught how to be, how to think, how to behave through our upbringing. And sometimes we follow patterns without even questioning them. Like cutting the ends off a roast. Because that's how it's always been done. When really, we just needed a bigger roasting pan. We learn to fit into certain roles. The strong one, the achiever, the peacemaker, or perhaps, I'm fine person. Think about it for a moment. Which role did you learn how to play? Really, take a moment and notice what comes up. Not what sounds right, no, but what feels true. Were you the strong one, holding everything together, while no one asked you how you were doing? The achiever, who learned that love came through performance. The peacemaker, who kept everybody happy, even if it meant abandoning yourself. Or maybe the I'm fine person, even when you weren't. You know, I'm fine. Which usually means everything but fine. And some of us didn't just pick one role, we overachieved and took on 3 or 4, just in case one personality wasn't enough for us to get loved. And here's the hard truth. The longer we play a role, the harder it is to remember who we were before we started performing. And as we took on a role, we learned to hide some parts in ourselves that didn't quite fit that role because we wanted to be loved, accepted, and to belong. Now I ask you, May I tell you a story?
Yes, please.
I heard somewhere that a storyteller has to ask before they speak a story, tell a story. It's my story. Doesn't matter. So a long time ago, when I was entering my apprenticeship in a photo lab, I knew within a week this wasn't the right place for me. I went through some struggling to tell my dad because my Oma was really proud of me to work at such a posh photo camera store next to a famous hotel in downtown Frankfurt. I remember standing there just a few days in and looking around thinking, ooh, it doesn't feel like me. Then I heard stories from a coworker that the owner crossed the line with her at the last Christmas party. And I carried that feeling home with me. I was fighting. I sat there thinking, how do I say that out loud? How do I disappoint somebody I love? You know, my stomach was tight. I could feel my heart racing, even thinking about speaking it out loud. Because it wasn't just about a job. It was about possibly disappointing someone I loved. And then Sunday afternoon, when I finally spoke to my dad, it wasn't this big confident speech. No, I stumbled and stuttered and very uncertain. Told him, but he spoke from my honest self. And that moment, small as it may seem, was my first real experience of uncorking. Luckily, my dad heard me and terminated the contract. And in that moment, I didn't just feel relieved, I felt seen. Like my voice mattered. A week later, I started somewhere else more suitable to me. You know, for that experience, my body was corked only a few days. In that time, however, I had to figure out what is more important. My grandmother's hopes and dreams for me or mine. Because staying corked has a cost. It shows up as exhaustion from being someone you're not. It shows up as a disconnection, even in a room filled with people. It shows up as that quiet voice at night that whispers, there has to be something more than this. And sometimes it shows up as a life that looks good on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. Had I suppressed my true self, I would have suffered. Would I have to deal with emotional exhaustion? Oh, probably. And for sure I would have felt unseen, because I didn't see and honor my needs. And I would have definitely been in the people-pleasing business. True. I could have fallen into quiet sadness, even when life looks fine, and my future would have been colored by it. I believe that our true self is the part of us that God, universe, spirit, designed on purpose. When we allow ourselves to live from that truth, our soul starts rejoicing. Or, if we are not listening, we get nudged. And it's not nice sometimes. Have you noticed that? The nudge can come as a heartbreak, a loss, maybe a burnout. I call those the 2x4 moments. I had some of those. My beautiful experience in my youth was not always remembered in my life. And maybe for you, it looked like staying in a job for too long, or in a relationship, or your body is giving you messages like headaches or back pain. It's worthwhile listening. Or saying yes when everything in you was screaming no. Or waking up one day and realizing, I don't even recognize my own life. I prefer the other kind, a spiritual awakening, something really sweet and deep, and knowing, an insight or a moment of stillness that makes us realize something must change. However, the poet Rumi knew that sometimes the painful experiences can serve as a catalyst for spiritual awakening and deeper self-understanding. And he said it, the wound is the place where the light enters you. And the wound is the place where light enters you. To come to the realization that uncorking needs to happen is a process. We want to become curious, alert, and kind with ourselves. So much that we pay attention to our feelings, wants, and wishes. Uncorking doesn't happen all at once. Oh no. But here's a little process, and it goes something like this. First, we tell ourselves the truth. Even if it's uncomfortable. And the best way to do that is look into the mirror, look into your eyes, and say what you really want. And see what comes up. Then we allow ourselves to feel. And sometimes that's the hardest part. Who wants to feel the grief, the anger, the longing that all those emotions that we were pushing away from us and holding down for so long? But this is a very important step. Feel it. Because then comes a powerful moment. We admit we are tired of pretending. I had enough of it. Stop right here. This is it. And from there, we turn inward. We stop asking, what do they expect of me? And we start asking, who did my soul come here to be? Howard Thurman said, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and then go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Uncorking isn't for us to become someone new. It's about remembering who we already are. Think about this. Nothing new came into me. Something true came out. So what do you think comes out of you when you uncork your true self? How about our real voice? Now we speak from the heart. Our truth. Our boundaries. We're finally saying where we are beginning and where we end. Yes, you can come here, but stop right there. Our tenderness. We're finally saying and letting people see and hear what we care about. Our joy, unencumbered, pure joy. Our intuition, because we trust it. Our worth, not what we earned, but our inherent worth. Perhaps you discover that your true self is softer than the world told you to be, or louder, or more creative, or more restful, or more spiritual. Whatever it is not a mistake. It's your true self. It's divine. It's that what's given to you. Celebrate it. The world doesn't need a more polished version of us. It needs the free, honest, life version of us. Let me ask you something. Where in your life are you still sealed? Don't answer out loud. Just notice what comes up. What truth have you been avoiding? What part of you is asking for air right now? You don't have to rip the cork out all at once. Sometimes uncorking begins with a whisper, a boundary, a tear, a prayer, or a brave, honest moment. I can promise you this, what's inside of you is not too much. It's been waiting to be released. Maybe today isn't about uncorking everything. Maybe it's just about loosening the cork a little bit, just enough to let a little more of you breathe. Here's a short poem about the beauty of being yourself. The world may ask for different shades, for masks to wear and parts to play. But truth is found when pretense fades and your own light leads the way. No need to match a borrowed beat or walk a path that isn't yours. Your own unique design is sweet, opening its own secret doors. So stand within your honest skin, unfolding as you're meant to be. The greatest race you'll ever win is the one where you are free. And the moment you begin to uncork your true self, you don't lose who you were. You finally come home to who you are. Let the outside do what the outside wants. Know your worth and trust it. And when you finally uncork who you truly are, don't apologize for the poor. I love you. Namaste.